I invite you now to take a moment to get settled as we prepare for meditation. Keeping your lap free and feet on the floor if possible. And if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. Turning your attention to your breath. Just follow the natural rhythm of your breathing. Breathing in and then releasing. With every breath in and out, you become more relaxed. Scanning your body, notice any areas of tension, and just send the gentle message, relax. Continuing to focus on your breath. Become aware of any thoughts that seem to demand your attention. For this short while, let them float on by. If they return, let them be. As you again return your attention within. Centered in this peaceful state, I invite you to listen to the words of the song that Carl has shared with us. As I speak these words, let them be your words. When this old world starts getting me down and people are just too much for me to face, sometimes there are things in my human existence that can be a challenge. I can sometimes feel overwhelmed and it seems like it is too much for me to face. When this happens, I climb way up to the top of the stairs and all my cares just drift into space. I rise to a higher state of consciousness. In this state of higher awareness, where I connect with the truth of my being, my divine nature, I rise above the conditions of the outer world. On the roof, it's peaceful as can be, and there the world below can't bother me. I am at peace. I experience the peace and stillness within. Let me tell you now, when I come home feeling tired and beat, I go up where the air is fresh and sweet. I know that in any moment I can turn my attention away from the outer circumstances and conditions of the world when I may feel tired and beat. As I do so, I enter into the awareness of my true self. I am refreshed. I get away from the hustling crowd and all that rat race noise down in the street. As I turn my attention to the peace within, I silence the noise of the thoughts that crowd my mind, the rat race of ego mind. On the roof, the only place I know where you just have to wish to make it so. In any moment, I just have to choose to go to a state of higher consciousness. Let's go up on the roof. At night, the stars put on a show for free, and darling, you can share it all with me. This inner world is a place of freedom. It is mine. Through my divine nature, I can access it anytime. I keep a-telling you right smack dab in the middle of town, I've found a paradise that's trouble-proof. Within, there is a paradise. where I am free from all worry and fear. Within, there is love, peace, harmony, joy. And in this world, if it starts getting you down, there's room enough for two. In the oneness, there is room enough for all. The allness is more than enough. Everything is all right up on the roof. And so it is. Amen. When you're ready, I invite you to take another deep breath and just focus on your breath once more. And as you do so, return your attention to this time and space, having just been refreshed from your time up on the roof. That's me. I'm usually not, I'm not used to seeing my name up in lights, so to speak. So for those of you who do know me, I'm Alexandra Gale. I'm a licensed Unity teacher. I enjoy Unity of New Westminster as my home ministry, and I'm always pleased and blessed to be here and be part of this amazing congregation. And some of you I've known for almost 10 years. I arrived here in BC August 31st, 2009, and I think the first time I came to Unity of New West, or Unity of White Rock was in maybe the end of September, the beginning of October, so it's been almost 10 years. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the fact that you're divine by design. And I thought, well, really, all I really have to do, and I can make it short and sweet, I can say, okay, everybody, you're divine. That's it, we're done.
Yeah, that's good.
However, sometimes that's easier said than done. And I'm not sure if you're aware that the topics for the speakers come from the monthly theme, those little calendars and also from the daily word. So that said, you know, you're divine nature and you're unlimited. So that's where we're going to go with this. Now, before we get started on that, I'm just going to share a little bit about this slide. For those people that are in spiritual leadership in Unity, there's a website we can access called Unity Worldwide Media. And it has lots and lots of resources. It has slides, pictures, prayer, videos. And when I was doing my research, I think I typed in divine, and what'll come up when I was doing my search. And this popped up. And I thought, oh, that's a great title. I like that because it fits in with the theme that I've been asked to speak about. But I wasn't really crazy about the picture. And so the next day I went rooming, searching around again, and I came up with this one again, and I thought, okay, all right, I guess that's what I'm using. And it had in brackets on the website that it was Minecraft inspired. And I thought, okay, whatever. And I'm not sure if anybody here knows what Minecraft is, because I'm seeing some nods, other people going, yes, no. I didn't know myself. So I thought, I wanted to pay attention to coincidences. I realized that the day before I found this slide, I had been listening to CBC, and they interviewed a professor from Montreal who was talking all about Minecraft. So I had heard about it just like 2 days before. And before I got this Minecraft message again, and I realized that, there might be something to this, so I better pay attention, because something I never heard of comes up one day, this came up, and then the following day I see the Minecraft thing again. So I did my due diligence and went researching, and having never played this game, it's actually a video game, and I think The best way to describe it is it's like a Lego video game, and everything is in these like pixel block things that you create. So here's some of the things that I found out when I did some research. That according to the one YouTube video that I did view, it said that it's more of an experience, and they called it also a sandbox. And it said there are different modes. So, we've got this Minecraft world. There's a survival mode, and you can access different resources and build things from those resources. Chop down trees. I saw them chopping down trees to use the wood to build a structure. And there's people, and yeah, you can see all this cool stuff. And it said also that there are enemies that you might have to deal with if you're in the survival mode. Just think about that. Then the creative mode. And the creative mode is where you can build all your own things. And often what they do is they recreate buildings, famous buildings. I think they had the British Museum, I think, and Rome Colosseum. You could actually recreate in this virtual world these real-life buildings. So that was creative mode. And then the adventure mode. And that's where you get to build adventures, and you can navigate adventures shared by others. So there's a way to mix and mingle, and you could connect. And then the final one was spectator mode, where you can actually go into what somebody else has created and just sort of check it out and play around with whatever they've done. That's as much as I know about it, having never played. And I found out, though, it's become a phenomenon. Obviously, if they're interviewing somebody on CBC about it, it's, you know, been brought to the forefront. I heard statistics like 91 million people play it every year. The guy who invented it sold it for, hold your breath, and now we're $2.5 billion. Yeah, and Microsoft bought it. And so it's like, it's a big deal. And then I thought, okay, so Minecraft, and what does that mean for me? Well, I thought, okay, I know I'm divine, and that's what I'm talking about, but I thought there is this whole human aspect of us. And a lot of our lives can sometimes be just about survival. You know, I don't know about anybody else, but I've been there. Sometimes it's just like I'm hanging on for dear life. And creative, we have the power to create. We go on adventures. We might not call them adventures as we're in the midst of them. However, we can choose that term if we want. Yeah, sometimes there are those enemies, whatever we define as enemies, lurking about. And the spectator mode allows us to, you know, sit back and check out what's happening. And sometimes if we choose, we can connect. So we have that opportunity as well. So I thought, oh, in this virtual world, there's a lot of what it means to be human. Now, how cool is it, though, when you're playing this video game, that you can immerse yourself in this world where all of this is going on. You have the power to create, to share, connect, and you don't have to leave your chair, you don't have to leave your living room or wherever you might be playing this. And sometimes, if you're in the middle of this, you might forget that there's another world, like the real world, outside of the game. And isn't that a lot like what it means to be human? Is there are times when we're so caught up in the humanity and all the daily, like the Daily Word said, those tasks and the errands and all of the stuff that just keeps us busy, that sometimes we get so immersed in that part of our humanity, in that physical realm, that we forget that there's another aspect to our being. And even though, you know, I'm claiming on your behalf that, you know, you are divine, and sometimes it's easy to forget or to get distracted. So, that song that Carl sang, and that was the basis for my meditation today, was an invitation for us to come up higher, to realize there's a new perspective from which we can view our lives and all the stuff that's going on in them. So, up on the roof, just chilling there. You can let all that stuff go, just momentarily even, and you can just be, and be with the truth of your being. Because you know that other stuff's still going to be, it's still going to be there when you leave the roof and come down. It's just that when you come down after having been up on the roof, you're in a much better position to handle any of that stuff. So this is the monthly theme. I live in the now and divine understanding is active in me. So in that moment of the now, that is that connecting point where you can get to that place where you know, with a capital K, that you are divine. You have this other aspect of yourself. And it's active in you, this divine understanding that gives you this new understanding from that higher perspective. Now, Unity teaches that we have these 12 powers. I've actually talked about them here before. Sometimes they're called faculties, sometimes our abilities, and those are innate aspects of our divinity. And divine understanding or spiritual understanding is one of them. And here's what Unity, and through Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, shares about understanding. So it's our faculty by which we receive enlightenment and insight, our capacity to gain direct perceptions of the truth, to know, perceive, realize, and comprehend. It doesn't, the books don't tell you, the movies you watch might not tell you, the people you deal with, you can hear it all. But when we get the direct awareness of this truth of our divinity and a lot of other aspects of truth, that's divine understanding or spiritual understanding at work. And it's set up, so Charles Fillmore has set it up so that, and there's a book about 12 powers, by the way, written by Charles Fillmore. He links each one of the 12 powers with one of the disciples, so in this case it's Thomas. Also placed in the body, so front of the brain, and the color is gold. So those are ways that you can connect from the physical world to the visible to the invisible. I think that was in one of those quotes at the beginning of the service today. And these are ways that we can consciously connect with the invisible realm of spirit. Now, a lot of you have probably heard this saying before. I won't ask for a show of hands, but I probably think that this is not new for you. I first heard it from Wayne Dyer way back in the day, and I thought he came up with it. And then I found out, no, he was giving credit to Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that's what I'm talking to you about today. In that little blurb that I gave to Angelica to send out, I said, our true essence is divine, however, we exist in a very human world. And how do we reconcile the two? The human that is limited and the spirit that is limitless. So we're playing around with these ideas today. And as always, I just invite you, play with them. If it sits well, great. If you're not so sure, put on the shelf. Or if you just go, that's a bunch of baloney, I'm not interested, that's okay too. This is your time to choose what you do with whatever is presented. So, one thing I do want to point out is that sometimes when we get this divine understanding, it's that spirit-driven. We also have an intellectual understanding. And a lot of times it takes us a while to comprehend on the intellectual level so that we can get to the point that we can get that direct connection through spirit. And so my work today is just to gently remind you that you have these two aspects of your being and you get to choose. It's always about choice. I think I say that every time. And guess why I say it? It's because I need to remember it for myself. I've said before here, I actually said something once. I said, you know, it might seem like I'm here to share these ideas with you, but really it's all about me, because I need to learn them too. And then I thought, well, that sounded kind of rude when I said that. I am here because I am one with you, and I'm on the path, and these are things that I'm working with all the time, and I am just privileged to be on the journey to share these ideas with you. So here we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. Now every Thursday, and I'm not sure what you guys do, but we have a prayer circle that meets at New Westminster, and just last Thursday, Desiree and Angelica joined us, and we had a prayer time, and we do the silent unity prayer service. So we read from a format that's put out by Silent Unity. And we have little prayer slips, and I think you guys have them as well. And it says, you know, people are invited to put down what their prayer requests are. What would you like us to hold in prayer? And we have healing, and we have relationships and prosperity as categories, and then other. And the other can be anything from you want to get a new job, or buy a house, or you need guidance in a big life decision, whatever that may be.